the world's most dangerous walkway, feeling the warm sand under my feet and the tide lapping on my toes. What's on your bucket list? What do you want to do? So in 2023, there were places you wanted to go, things you wanted to see and do, but you didn't. Yes, I'm the same. I have regrets. I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve, didn't do what I wanted to do. And these are for silly reasons, things which just weren't important. And this year, I'm going to change that. After my 2 weeks I spent in hospital, I see things through different eyes now. I now have a bucket list of things which I'm going to do. And these are not what I want to do. They're actually what I am going to do. Some wow overseas trips, breathtaking scenery, experiences to remember. Some of these I could actually do this weekend, although I'm probably best to wait till the weather improves. It's been flipping horrendous recently, hasn't it? Although one thing on my bucket list, not for this year, but hopefully in the future, is to actually go to Scotland in the snow season, to go to the mountains in Scotland and go on the slopes, do some winter sports. I've always fancied snowboarding. Since moving down here to the sunny southwest, I've not particularly experienced much snow. And when we do get snow down here, oh my word, it really does grind to a halt. But some of these things on my bucket list does involve snow, and I'll come on to those a little bit later on. I've got lots of things I want to do. Some of them are really simple. Some of them are really cheap, and 100% I will be doing this year. But there are other things which will cost a lot of money and also a lot of time. But they're going to be well worth it, and they're definitely on the bucket list of things I want to do. I can't afford them at the minute, but there are some spectacular places, some things which you might not have been aware of yourself, others which I'm sure you are, and you might have experienced, and you might be able to actually give me some advice as to how they are, how to go about doing the places. And I'm hoping that you'll share that with me, and also places which I don't mention, give me some ideas of places I could go myself. Let me know where you have been and where you recommend, and things I should be doing. In addition to some of the places which I want to go on my bucket list, what part of my bucket list is to get a new van. But at the moment, I am quite a long way away from that. But that doesn't stop me exploring and trying to find out more about these vans, finding out what would suit me better. With all the change that's going on at the moment in the campervan market, as I did mention in my last video, I'm not exactly sure which direction to go in. So for my bucket list this year, I'm definitely going to be doing some exploring. And hopefully I'm going to be able to try out these sorts of vans, the ID Buzz in the camper form. I know there's a few of them around there, so I want to have a closer look, see how they are, see how practical they would be in the real life. And I do know a builder who's building one at the moment who will definitely let me have a look. There's also the multivan. Now, although the multivan California concept isn't really going to be available this year, there is still the multivan, and I can get out there and I can find out what the engines are like, what the different drivetrains are like. They've obviously got the petrol, the diesel, and the hybrid. So it'd be good that I can get out and have a look just to see which of those would be most suitable for me. And then there's the new Ford Transit Porter, the Ford Transit VW Transporter, which is going to be coming out. Obviously the Ford is out on the road at the moment, so maybe getting out and having a closer look at that, seeing what those engines are like, seeing what again is going to be suitable for when the Transporter does come out in next year, which is actually 2025. And then we've also got the new VW Crafter, which I think is April, and I've mentioned that again in another video. And I've also mentioned that there's a lot of converters building on this platform now, more than ever before, because this does seem to be that the van that people are going to, because obviously it is much bigger. It is more of a motorhome. You can fit a lot more stuff in it, but check out my other videos on that. But that's another van I'm going to be exploring. But if I did get that van, then that'd mean I'd need a car as well. That'd be even more costly. And I also want to test out a van with air ride. Now, I've seen loads and loads of vans with air ride, hundreds and hundreds of them, but I wanted to try one out for a reasonable period of time to see what the actual driving's like of it, going over different terrain, not just popping down the road and you know, just doing a quick trip in it, but testing it on journeys which I would normally do, just to see what the comfort compares like. And I've got the perfect van in mind to be testing that on. And I'm also going to be looking at a van, a VW Transporter camper van worth over £120,000. 120 grand, oh my word. I'm going to be investigating why the price tag of such a vehicle carries such a price tag. How can it be worth that? Well, where is the value in it? I'm going to be bringing that to you because I need to explore it myself to find out, do the calculations to see, how those figures get to. And I'll be bringing that to you at some point in the future. And also something I'll be seeing this year is a big power petrol van. And I actually know that I'm probably going to be seeing more than one of these. I wait for one and then they come along like buses, more than one. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the V10 petrol powered one, which I don't really know what's happened to. I'm going to have to find out about that to see if that is actually going to be a thing. But what these are, I'm going to keep that quiet because they're both going to be on the channel in the future and I can't wait. One of them is being built and another one has already been built and it's kind of locked away, cotton wool, and doesn't really get out an awful lot. But I'm going to change that. I'm going to get it out, I'm going to get it on the road, test it out and see what I think of it. But the reason for me having those on my bucket list is to really figure out exactly what I want. What do I want in my next van? There's no point me aiming for a T6.1 if actually I drive the multivan and I think, well, actually, this might be the vehicle for me. When this California concept does come out, that kind of might be the route I want to go down. Or if I drive the big power petrol ones, well, actually, yeah, that's definitely what I'm going to get. So I'm going to be exploring them, seeing what they like, to seeing what will suit me when the time's right, which actually might be some time away. But we can always hope, can't we? But before all that, I've got a bucket list of things I want to do in my own van. I want to get out and explore, see different places. Also things which I couldn't do last year, which I really wanted to do. This spring and summer, I'm going to be exploring places right on my doorstep. Trianon with its natural sea pools and also its window cave, the hidden cave, which you can only get to at certain times. If you've not seen that, that is really cool. In fact, I might as well do a video on that because it is really good. You can get around there either by swimming, paddleboard, kayak, and it's great fun to do. And another beach I want to be exploring more of this year is Harling. Great big beach, great for surfing, and it's also got some rocks you can explore over as well. And it's got coffee and crepes and big pan something or other, and they do lots of different foods in these, cooked in these great big pans. If you've not seen them, get down there and have a look. They are really nice and tasty. I love those places. Really, really lucky to have them on our doorstep. And whilst I wasn't able to get to them last year, it made me want to be at them even more. Feeling the warm sand under my feet and the tide lapping on my toes. I just wanted to be there. Some of these beaches have got crystal clear water and they're absolutely fantastic. Definitely am not going to take them for granted, and they're on my bucket list to do as absolutely as much as I possibly can down there this year. And the bucket list items surrounding all that is to get down to the Bedruthen camping. Now you've heard of Bedruthen Steps, which is a National Trust property, and yes, you can't actually get down the steps at the moment, and to be honest, I'm not even sure if you ever will again. They have been damaged and it's going to cost a lot to repair them. But Bedruthen camping is just on the hillside, and camping in there, you've got some fantastic views and beautiful sunsets, and that's somewhere which I want to stay. It is a paid campsite, it is a field, but they do have full washing facilities, showers, and they've also got a coffee and crepe van. They've got food. It's a really, really nice place to be. And then you've obviously got all the fantastic walks which you can do from there. You can see the sunset. Definitely something which I will be doing this year. Cannot wait. And just a few minutes walk away is Carnua's Tea Rooms, which does the best ploughman's lunch. I absolutely love going in there. Go in there several times a year, and they do this ploughman's lunch, and it's really, really nice food. Lovely local produce, and I can highly recommend that. And there's all the little, sorry, I'm not a bird person, but they've got like lots of little birds in the bushes, and it's just great. You're sat there eating your food and you can hear all this tweeting, and beyond that you've got the sea and the views, and it's just a lovely place. I mean, the whole of the North Cornwall coast is fantastic. If you've not been there, then definitely stick it on your bucket list. It really is a good place to be going to. Those places are very local to me, so I am lucky enough to be able to go to them. They're only about an hour's drive from where I am. But somewhere else which I haven't ever been to, I don't think. I might have been when I was a child, but I'm not even sure I have. But something I want to do is I want to kayak from Lulworth Cove to Durdledore. The Jurassic Coast is absolutely stunning, and with the right weather to do that kayak trip would be fantastic. You must have seen the pictures of it. It is a lovely, lovely place. So that is definitely something I'm going to do this year. However, first I'm going to need a kayak, and I think I'm going to be having to borrow one of those unless Kayaks and Paddles fancy doing me a fantastic offer on a new one. Then yeah, I'm probably going to have to borrow one. But then second to that, I'm actually going to have to build up my fitness. So I'm going to have to be doing a bit of it locally, and there's loads of places I can do it locally. We've got Drake's Island. Now Drake's Island is just off the coast where we are, and I fancy actually doing a trip around there. We've got Firestone Bay. A lot of people go swimming in Firestone Bay, and paddleboarding and kayaks. I can get off there and get around the island from there. And then a little bit further down the coast, we've got Wembury and the Mewstone, and I want to go out there as well, although that's probably a little bit of a step too far for me at the moment. But we've got some wonderful places which you can explore locally. Those things are also things I have never done before. I mean, they're on my doorstep and I've never actually done them. Why is that? Well, because I've been busy doing other pointless things. So this year, now I'm going to do that. They're on my bucket list to do this year. Yeah, they might not be amazing bucket list things, but what a thing to do. Creating those beautiful memories, seeing these beautiful places. Definitely, I'm going to be doing those myself. Now, before I get onto some of the wow, spectacular overseas places, I think I better just touch on the fact that I've just been talking about the Southwest, but it's not all about the Southwest, is it? There's lots of other beautiful places around Great Britain. We've got the NC 500, which a lot of people go to. And if you see some of the pictures that people have taken there, wow, you definitely think you was in a different country. You've got the Lake District, which I am familiar with. I am from the north, and wow, the Lake District was something I went to quite a lot. And it's a beautiful place to be. You've got some brilliant waterfalls, High Force, and things such as that. You've got the Roman baths, and we've got National Trust properties, English heritage. There's lots of beautiful places throughout Great Britain. Lots of places which I haven't visited before, which I do intend on doing. And sticking with Great Britain, but actually just over the water in Northern Ireland, and that is going to Belfast. Yes, I have been to Belfast before, but I haven't been to the Titanic Museum, and that is somewhere which I really want to go to. So this year I am going to be going over to Belfast. I'm going to be visiting the Titanic Museum and having a look there. Always something which I've been really interested in. I do actually have a very good Titanic story, which one day I might tell you. But when I go over there, I am going to be producing some videos because there's a few vans over there which I'm going to go over and see. Some exciting things which you haven't seen before, and nor have I, so I'm really keen to get over there. Not exactly sure when I'm going yet, but it's definitely going to be happening this year, and I really look forward to sharing that with you. But back over to this side of the water, and another thing I want to do is go to Mount Snowdon. Now, Mount Snowdon isn't the biggest mountain in the world, but it is a beautiful place. And what I fancy doing is going up there, and trust me, it's a long way from here. Going over there and going to places which I've been to before, like Abersock, going visiting some relatives in Criccieth. Is it Criccieth? Criccieth? Sorry if I'm saying it wrong. And I want to stay at a campsite which has got hot tubs. Sounds a little bit strange, but yeah, that's something which I want to do. And I know that there are some which I can use as a base camp at the bottom of Mount Snowdon. There are a few of these campsites with hot tubs. Just something I personally want to do. Might not be for you, but that's what I want to do. But before I get onto that adventure, which is probably actually going to be next year, I'm going to be going to some other local places. Places like Healy Cider. Now, Healy Cider has got the Splitty, which is in a very nice colour. I'm sure you've seen it. Going to be going to Padstow and showing you the best fish and chip shop down there. Well, actually, according to locals, most people don't actually visit the best fish and chip shop in Padstow. We are so lucky to have these beautiful places on our wonderful islands, but one thing which we don't often get is the weather. One place where you do get this glorious weather, and somewhere I want to go this year, is Spain, but not just Spain, somewhere in particular. I want to go to somewhere in Spain which is described as having the world's most dangerous walkway, El Caminito del Rey. the King's Little Path. This is not particularly dangerous now it's had its renovation, but it is highly, highly rated as a tourist attraction. And for several years, it's something which I wanted to do, but never actually done. There's some great history behind this. And when I go over there and do experience it, which I will do, I'll bring you and I'll tell you all about that. And whilst I'm over there, I'm also going to visit the Fuente de Piedra Lagoon, where the pink flamingos are. Now this is something which you will see from the plane. If you're flying into Malaga, you will see the big lagoon, the big lake, although you might not actually see it or notice it at the moment, because I don't actually think it's got a great deal of water in it. Because unlike here, Spain, or that kind of region in Spain, isn't actually getting very much rainfall at the moment, so things are drying up. Maybe we should send over some of our rain and let them have it, and we can kill two birds with one stone. I shouldn't really use that term, should I, when I'm talking about flamingos? Are flamingos birds? I don't know. I did say I'm not a bird person, didn't I? But that isn't the only lake on my bucket list. Now, if I'm talking about a bucket list and a lake, and I mention Italy, then you probably know the lake which I'm talking about. Have you been there? Lake Como. Yes, I know a lot of high profile people, a lot of celebrities, and it's very Instagrammable and this, that and the other, but it's like that for a reason, because it's a really nice place. For that reason, I want to go myself. I want to see the picturesque villages. I want to see the lake. I want to experience that good Italian coffee in one of the villages while seeing this beautiful scenery. But that would just be one stop of the tour. It would be a long tour which I go on. And part of the tour, part of the journey, would be to go over the Stelvio Pass. And the Stelvio Pass is said to be one of the best driving roads in the world. Probably not really best suited for a camper van, but at the same time, it's got some amazing scenery. Scenery which you're not going to see every day. If you've seen the pictures of it on the internet, or you've seen people driving over there, it's incredible, incredible place. And a lot of these places are far better when you're there and you're looking at it with your own eyes. You're breathing it in. You're seeing this imagery with your own eyes. It is completely different. So I am definitely going to be going over there when I possibly can. But that's probably going to be when I get a new van. And it is a popular road. It's popular for tourists. A lot of people go there. But tourists go to these places because they are good to go to. They are worth it. That's why the holiday resorts are popular, because they're good places to go to. Just because they're popular and they might be on everybody else's bucket lists, maybe that's for a reason, because they are amazing places and you should go to them. And the same can be said for the next one, another high touristy place, but for good reason again, and that's the Grossglockner, the road in Austria. Again, high up in the mountains, common theme here, but some beautiful, beautiful scenic places. This is a toll road in Austria. But one of the problems with this toll road, and also the Stelvio Pass, is they're not open in the winter months because they are in the mountains. So with them being in the mountains, they are going to suffer from snow and ice, and they're not going to be very safe driving on them. So you do have to go, I think it's between May and November. So what that would mean is you'd be able to drive up them and see the snow, but you wouldn't be able to drive up them and be in the snow. So the other thing which I mentioned before about me wanting to do some snowboarding in Scotland, and I'd like to do it overseas, then yes, I would like to do that in a place like Austria, but I wouldn't be able to do that at the same time as driving up the road, because when I'll be able to do the skiing and the snowboarding, the road's going to be closed. But that's possibly another bucket list thing, which I've always wanted to do. Many years ago in the mid-90s, I was really into the rallying. And one place which I always said I wanted to go to was the Rally of Sweden. But I never went to it. You know, the rally where Colin McRae and Richard Burns and Carlos Sainz and all those kind of people which we're into. That's what I wanted to go to. The Rally of Sweden is a lot of snow, and that's something which you wanted to do. So maybe that could actually be a different trip which I did. And because of that rallying and my love of the Subaru Impreza in the time, 1995, Colin McRae obviously won the World Rally Championship, and I actually saw one of the cars which he did that in. I think he was at Charnock Richard, They had it over there, L555 BAT. I've always loved the sound of the Subaru engine. So for quite a few years now, I've wanted the Subaru Impreza, the 2-litre boxer engine, in a Splitty or a bay window or even a Beetle. So that's kind of like a bucket list thing, but probably something which now is probably going to be have me money better spent on other things. But you never know, maybe. But yeah, that's always something which I've fancied doing for a number of years, because I just love that sound of that engine. And then combine that with the Volkswagen side of things, and I know people have done it. A lot of people have done that, so it's certainly not going to be fresh and new. But yeah, I've always liked that. But anyway, one of the main things I want to do as far as bucket list is concerned this year is meet more of you wonderful people. Talk about you, about your camper vans, your experiences, where you've been, what you've seen, what products you've bought, what you like, what you don't like, and also speak to other converters and other product manufacturers to talk about which products they've got and how their products can benefit you. Sit around the fire pit. You see my solo stove, absolutely love it. Maybe have a pizza, and I'm going to be bringing that video to you hopefully very soon. I'm really excited about that. So if you want to see how I cook a pizza in a camper van or just outside a camper van, then do subscribe. Or if you do want to see me tick off quite a few of these items on my bucket list, then subscribe, and then you'll be able to see them. Share with me your experiences. What's on your bucket list? What do you want to do? And if you've not got a camper van, but you like the idea of having that van life, then maybe watch this video here where I talk about the van life, the camper van life, without actually having a proper camper van. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.